Hey golfers, I'm Drew Mahowald, Second Swing Golf here at the Tour Fan at Second Swing Minnetonka, joined by Emma Carpenter here to review the newest irons from Mizuno JPX 925 models. There's 3 of them here, and it's actually really great to have Emma with us because she's been playing the JPX 921 Hot Metal Pros for several years here.
Oh yeah, I love them. I haven't wanted to switch.
So that's what I was going to ask you about, is your experience playing those, and if you're kind of excited to see and do some testing today on the newest model here.
No, I'm really, really excited. I think it was my first time using Mizuno irons when I did start using the 921 Hot Metal Pros when Larry Bobka fit me in them, and now I just love Mizuno irons. I think they make such a good iron, so I'm excited to try them. Yeah.
Really there's obviously some new tech in here with the JPX 925 irons, but they still have that kind of look of a JPX kind of explosive iron, right? But they've made some updates in here. So through of course, they use the nickel chromoly material. They've been using that in the past for the several generations, but now they've made that face thinner, 30% thinner, through the new Contour Ellipse face. So there's just kind of a new design here on the face. Internally, you can see a different shape, but it provides faster ball speed out the center, but also faster ball speed on those miss hits, which is obviously very important, getting that forgiveness when you might miss hit a little bit. So, but as is in the past, we have the Hot Metal and the Hot Metal Pro. I want you to take a look at that Hot Metal Pro and just, what do you see initially from that? Does it look like an iron that you'd play? Does it look like something similar to what you're kind of used to?
Well, first of all, it's nice and clean and new.
Yes.
That's a nice and good look for me. Mine have wear marks and all the things, dirt, not good. But I mean, I love the look of the iron. First of all, it definitely, like you said, I can just tell it looks a little bit thinner, like you said.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look all that much smaller.
Yeah.
Looks really. I'm eager to see. This one here, though, this one looks really big.
Yeah. So that's the Hot Metal HL. Okay. So that one is designed to be a little bit bigger. That sole's bigger there, as you can see.
Yeah.
And the idea there is to help golfers get the ball into the air a little bit better.
Okay.
So you're gonna have, I would hope in the testing today, if things are what Mizuno tells us they are, this one will be the highest launching one that you test today.
Okay.
And then this is kind of a mix of the two. So this, as in the past, Hot Metal Pro, this is just a kind of a big brother to Hot Metal Pro.
Gotcha.
Has everything that one has, just in a little bit larger package too.
Yeah.
So
this club, what is like the purpose of having a smaller head?
Yeah, so it's a lot of kind of what you said. You kind of like to look at something that's not probably gigantic, right?
Right.
So it's a way of slimming down the appearance of it. A lot of golfers don't like this big, huge, game improvement iron that say the Hot Metal HL is. So it's a little bit. It's basically all of this technology of the Hot Metal into a Hot Metal Pro with that small compact design that's more inviting to a lot of golfers, but still provides the technology and maybe help that maybe say maybe a higher handicap might be looking for.
Right.
But then also someone like you that likes to have a certain look of an iron also can appeal to you as well. So it's kind of a mix of best of both worlds there. It fits a lot of golfers because of that.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong. It's like the bigger head is kind of easier to hit because it's a game improvement iron, but especially from the fairway. But I feel like something that's thinner, I feel like I would like this more, like you have more options of like the way that you can kind of like move the face as opposed to a really big face. It's like really good for hitting an easy stock shot. But thinner, like maybe it would work through the rough a little bit better.
Yes, and if you need to hit, say, a big high fade or need to hit a draw, you're going to get more workability out of the compact iron versus something else.
Good word, love it.
Yes, so that's what we have today. We're going to test all 3 with Emma today. And again, JPX 925 irons. I'm really excited. The 923 and 921, 919 going back have been very successful. So we're going to do some testing today.
Sweet, I'm probably going to want them, so.
Let's see what they have for you.
Sweet.
All right, so first iron, JPX 925 Hot Metal. So as we talked about, that's going to be, in terms of size, probably right in the middle of the 3 that we're testing. It's going to be, you're going to have the Hot Metal Pro will be the smallest. The Hot Metal will be sort of right in the middle, and then the Hot Metal HL is going to be that probably the most helpful, most user-friendly, as Larry would say. So we'll start in the middle here, and then maybe go to the HL, and then we'll end with the Pro that you're kind of more used to. So.
And this one already looks just like a tinge bigger than the head that I currently have.
Right, and it should be.
Yeah, it felt good.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Oh my gosh! What?
So I was going to ask you now. We've got a number on one shot here. What do you typically hit a 7-iron?
I mean, in tournaments, I hit a 7-iron like 178.
Okay.
But that's usually how I like it to carry and stop.
Okay.
The thing about the Mizuno irons, particularly
the ones
that I have, they are pretty hot. Like they do go really far, which I really like because it's a confidence thing. Like if you know you can hit your 8-iron 165 and you're 165 and you know maybe if you're hitting different irons you got to hit like a 6.
Yeah.
It's like it just like feels better in my head to be like, oh wow, look at this, I got the short iron, even if it is like, you know, really hot.
So that's good because I'm curious, you know, as we hit more shots, I believe this one is a slightly stronger loft than you're used to.
Even more so.
It's a little bit stronger even before. And again, I don't know exactly how your irons are fit. I know I should, you know, we could get Larry's consultation on exactly what your irons are set at. I know the stock Hot Metal Pro, the 921 I believe was 29 degrees.
Okay,
stock back then. Now yours might be a little stronger or weaker, but this is 28. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a pretty good first swing though.
Yeah, that was not bad. That really was not bad. It had a little bit of a different sound.
It's definitely, it's got that powerful sound to it.
That one might curve a little bit more. Oh, yeah.
So what I like though already is you're hitting the ball plenty high in the air. Now, you know, not everybody that plays this iron is going to swing as fast as you do.
Yeah.
But you're getting well, I know our fitters like to say ideally the landing angle is at 45 degrees. That allows most people to stop the ball on the green. And you're up almost at 50. So that's already a pretty good start for this club.
Gotcha. Then how come it's running out so much?
Because honestly, you probably spin the ball a little bit more with your irons than this.
Oh, right,
and so this spin is, you know, that's going to be another concern too with golfers on this iron is so many of these game improvement irons are so strong or lofted and they don't spin the ball enough that A, you don't hit the ball high enough, and B, it doesn't spin enough to stay there.
Right. You might be able to hit it farther, but not because, gotcha. That makes sense.
There's some more ball speed in that one.
Yeah, that one felt good.
Yep, over 120 on the ball speed. See, that's good. I like to, well, first of all, it's a dead straight ball flight. That's pretty darn
Can never
good.
complain about,
Yeah, that's really good.
Feels really good.
How does it feel to you? Does it feel like hot? Does it feel like, when you make contact, do you feel a lot in your hands, or is it?
You know, I would say, like, I was surprised at how far the first one went. Like, I'm surprised that the ball speed is as high as it is, which is a good thing because sometimes I feel like you can hit an iron and you can hit it and it's like almost so hot that you're like, oh gosh, like sit down. Like it's just, you know, if you catch one good, it's like too good and you'd rather have that consistency. So it's a good feeling that like it feels pretty stock. Like it didn't feel like I was like, whoa, that's a little out of control. So that's good. That wasn't as good.
That a slight miss?
Yeah, that's kind of the miss right now is.
Okay. Well, I mean, so is that a swing miss or is that a contact miss? Or both? I mean, again,
probably a mix of both.
We're nitpicking because clearly that still went pretty darn close to the other shots.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a ball speed drop of 2.5 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Now, that also could be, we talked about the new club face structure inside that Contour Ellipse face. That could be part of it too if you did miss it slightly. We got one more shot here to go, but this is some pretty good. I mean, again, you said you may have missed that one. The carry was still 172.2, right in the mix of the rest of them.
Yeah, I'm surprised at the ball speed, which is what I really like, because the second shot and the fourth shot both felt like a miss. Like it did not feel good.
Okay.
So I'm surprised that it still.
Yeah, the second one dropped off a little bit more than the others at 168, and it had a little bit more spin, so that could see maybe if that one. But even this fourth shot, the same smash factor, which means you were as efficient with it.
Yeah, but even if we're talking about like 5-6 yards, that's not that bad.
Oh, that's
like
if that's a miss, that's
pretty
you'll
good.
take that. I know that. So all right, let's get one more up there.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that one probably was the hard. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some more speed. That one almost like I think it launched lower too, maybe.
Yeah.
It did.
That could have been like a right before I swung. Like I kind of got it towards the back of my stance right now.
I'm curious.
Trying to control the face.
I'm curious on. Okay, not really though. Your attack angle was what I was curious about there because your first swing you started actually slightly up technically as TrackMan's reading it, but pretty much neutral. And then he's got a little bit farther down, but you didn't like, you weren't like super steep on this one comparatively to the other shots.
Yeah, I mean, it went 10 feet lower than the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, So I mean, again, but the fact that you're over 100 feet on all these, your landing angle is 48, 49, almost 50 on all these is a really, really good sign.
Sheesh, dude, 190 yards 7-iron. If that's like, I mean, if it's really rolling out that much. Whew.
Yeah. Now, granted, TrackMan reads it a certain way. I think if you had a soft green like we had in Minnesota this year, where you're getting a ton of rain, you probably wouldn't get 10 yards out of it.
Yeah.
But there's our dispersion map too, which is kind of cool. That's good to look at.
I tell you what, like that short right miss is the miss that you want. Like first, so like long left has been my miss before. So I like seeing that with this club. That if anything, and you know what, like a lot of times I have a tendency to toe it before I would heel it, and a lot of times that toe will cause that left miss. So when I towed it and I still like it went right and still went fairly far, like that was pretty good. I liked.
Yeah, okay. Well, good. We got some good feedback. Let's go now and hit the high launch model.
I don't think that went higher, but I might have hit it a little thin. Oh.
A little thin, you said?
Yeah.
That would make sense. I mean, this is a much higher spin than I've seen so far, because you've been right around 5,000 and maybe a hair under 5,000 so far.
I get a regular flex shaft, and it's my first left miss. That checks out, doesn't it?
That does check out. Yep. And the hot metal.
That felt better.
Okay. Yeah, the launch is 22.5. That's.
Woo!
Yeah, that's much higher. So we're at a 22-degree launch angle, 111, and then at your landing angle, that's the steepest so far, 50.8.
Yeah. So
this one should go shorter than the last one by.
Yeah.
Probably, I bet the average carry will be 6 to 8 yards difference. Yeah, because I think this one's 31 degrees, I want to say. So yeah, maybe even up to 9 or 10 yards difference in carry.
I did like the way that felt though off the face. Oh, that's so high and right. Yup.
I mean, kind of. Okay, did you hit that one thin or something?
I think so. A little thin,
Wonder if it picked up here. No, it didn't. Oh yeah, it did.
Yes.
A little bit. Okay, but not
thin,
that bad.
Slightly on the toe. That was a lot better.
Yeah, higher ball speed once again. That's a lot like that first swing.
Yeah, well, and you know what's interesting is I actually thought that was going to go a little bit lower, and it still went high. Yeah. Like I did not. Yeah.
21.5.
And it was my highest one.
This is trending towards exactly what Mizuno was telling us.
Yeah.
How was contact on that one now?
It was like, okay. Yeah. I mean, that one was, again, just a little bit on the toe. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, a little on the toe.
Yeah, it felt like it.
All right, well, let's, here, I'll get the dispersion. See, that makes sense. Okay.
Still, actually, like, I was kind of happy with how it turned out because it didn't feel that good, but.
Yeah, I mean, look at how, first of all, how straight these are going. You've got 3, maybe 4 that are for sure on the green. And then, again, you said you kind of like the miss to be that short right miss. There you go. And you mentioned, we talked about the shaft difference and a little bit more flexible shaft maybe is the reason that dispersion map is slightly shaded more left than in the hot metal.
Yeah. But it's exactly like you said, and that like the reason why this is a game improvement iron is like lots of beginners or people who don't play as much golf or whatever it might be, they struggle to get the ball up in the air. And objectively, I was hitting 10 feet higher.
Yeah, your launch especially, right? You're launching at a degree and a half higher. You're getting a lot more spin too, which is keeping the ball in the air.
Yeah.
So that's the big piece, and also the landing angle too. Like it's to a degree, it's not as much about just the peak height. I mean, obviously the peak height factors into all these things, but we really want the landing angle to be comfortably over 45 degrees is really the number. You're hitting it plenty high, and to get it over 50 means you're going to be really steep.
Yeah.
Plenty of height, plenty of stopping power.
Yeah.
So, all right, now I think the one that you're probably most intrigued by, the Hot Metal Pro. You can test that one.
Yeah, I am. Drew, we were talking about this for a second off camera, but I have always wondered why, if the small face is harder to hit, what is the purpose?
The benefit?
What's the benefit of?
So it's a couple of things. I mean, I think psychologically players like a smaller club head. Like you even mentioned, when you put down the hot metal, you saw a little bit of action behind the club head a little bit there.
Right.
And for a lot of golfers, that's off-putting. They don't even want to see it.
Yeah.
So something like that's perfect, the hot metal pro. But also a smaller club head like this typically has a center of gravity that's a little bit more forward, and because of that, the workability of hitting a fade or a draw, or hitting it. If you want the knockdown shot, you can hit that.
Right. I was gonna say you can probably flight things a lot better.
You can flight those a little bit better. So that's why same thing with like low spin drivers too. The center of gravity is a hair more forward in the head, and the result is you have a lot more control over where the ball goes versus the club, if that makes sense. So like your swing will impact the ball flight more versus if I have this super max driver forgiving head, like I have the Ping G430 Max 10K, super forgiving driver, and when I don't hit the best tee shot, I miss it on the toe or the heel, it's more forgiving than my pass driver would be, because the center of gravity is farther back, more stable. So a lot of science talk going on right now. This is more science than I've talked in a long time.
Well, it's super interesting because it's like, above all else, you want consistency, but you also want to be able to.
Yeah, you want to hit the shots you want to hit.
Exactly.
So this iron head is the hot metal that you hit already, but it's just in a smaller package, different shaping.
Yep, it's definitely a lot thinner, a lot bladier.
Yep.
That felt really good.
Yep. It's a pretty darn good first swing there.
I love the way that felt off the face.
Yeah, and I thought the high launch was quieter than the standard hot metal, the first one you hit.
Yeah.
And then I think this one's even quieter yet.
Yeah.
This is like that's only the one swing, but
it's weird. It's like the first one had kind of like a clack sound, and then this one is very like soft off the face in a way, if that makes sense. But still, like, it definitely, like, it felt like it had a lot of ball speed. I liked that one too.
Yep, those are two really good swings.
They're doing two different things, just a baby draw and a
baby
cut.
But you're kind of seeing how that, there's a little bit more shape to these shots versus, those hot metal swings at the beginning were just dead straight.
Yeah. Even if I missed it right, it was just kind of like.
Yeah. So there is going to be a little bit more, and again, it's a small difference, but to someone of your caliber, you're going to see a little bit more draw when you're trying to hit a draw, a little more fade when you're trying to hit a fade with this club versus others. And then obviously, if we were to go down and play, a blade, that's where that would show up a lot more.
Right. Totally. Well, it makes sense. It's like you got a big head. It's just, it looks the best like square versus you got a really thin head.
Yeah, because the idea is the bigger the club, especially with irons, the bigger, and you hit it toe or heel, the more it will resist twisting.
Right,
so
totally.
It'll twist more with a smaller head, but you can control it more too with your ball flight.
Oh, that one was just gonna go a little left.
Little left, kind of smothered it a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Okay, well that's. When I think of a smothered shot, it's definitely a lot farther left than that. So.
Yeah. Oh please! I mean, it was 26 feet left. Not great.
26 feet left is fine though. I mean, if you're hitting at the middle of the green and you go 26 feet left, you're still on the green.
Not terrible.
Unless you're going to a tucked left pin and you're trying to attack it, you might be in trouble then.
True. That was thin.
Was it? Okay.
It was thin.
That's actually a lot of ball speed for a thin shot.
Yeah, see, that went 91 feet.
Okay, that's actually a fascinating shot because I want to see distance-wise how that played out with the rest. Yeah, okay, so you're right in the mix with all of them.
Yeah.
So it's a little lower. That makes sense with a thin shot. It launches a little lower on the height just because you didn't quite catch it. You caught it a groove or two low.
Yeah.
But fascinating that the distance was still, it's right there.
Yeah.
You didn't lose any distance. This is carry, by the way. This is not total.
That is surprising because I feel like usually with a smaller head, the problem is like, especially with a right miss, if you miss it, like the distance is going to really suffer.
Yeah.
So
that's the whole, that's the push of any golf equipment company now is making your miss hits better.
Right, exactly.
They're all trying to do. They have their own different method of doing it.
Right.
But that's clearly whatever they're doing with these irons, Mizuno, this is working, because if that's a miss hit, clearly it's thin. We can look at the numbers and see that.
Right.
You know, you got it went 15 feet kind of shorter in the air.
Yeah.
Landing angle is so it's clearly a thin shot, but it still went out there far enough so it's not going to punish you at all.
Right, like when I feel like a lot of other times you would see that blue dot like way further left and long.
I see it would be a problem.
Or short because it's thin, right? Like it's not like
It's like a lot of times you might be like, if you're trying to carry, you have 100. Let's say, I don't know, how far are you carrying this? 175 yards. If you're trying to carry this ball 165 yards, you got to get it over a hazard or something to get on the green.
Right.
You hit it one thin like that, and you're falling through. You're like,
oh
no,
go,
fly,
go.
And this one, no problems with that.
Yeah.
So
how about the spin?
Spin on that one was actually low. Interesting.
Yeah.
But you're still actually overall. That's really cool to see how consistent it is.
Yeah. Right.
Because you hit it thin, you mishit it, and it's still really close to all these other numbers.
Yeah.
Let's get one more just for the sake of having 5 for each, and then we'll really dive in here a little bit.
That was like the same. That's like the same toe-y push that I've been having. Yeah.
I mean, it drew back to well, you missed the center line by 1 foot 4 inches. So that turned out okay for you, I think.
Yeah. Does it spin less if it's on the toe?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So kind of toe side will typically knock down spin a little bit, and then low on the face as well or actually high on the face will knock down spin.
Okay, that's what I think that was. But I liked how it just kind of stayed there.
It did, I mean, yeah, that's the straightest one technically.
It wasn't bad, yeah.
So all right, let's look at this. Makes a lot of sense how these numbers have ranged out here.
I love when things make sense.
Yeah, so we'll wrap it up here in the final thoughts, but initially these numbers are lining up exactly with how we thought. This is great.
Can I come back there with you, Drew?
Yeah, let's do that. All right, so Emma, testing complete there, and we've got some numbers to look at.
Yeah.
Let's break those all down here. Interesting findings, but of course, most of it is what we thought would happen because of what Mizuno told us about the irons and what we've known in past series. The hot metal one is, again, it's going to fit the most golfers out of all 3 of these, and it did what we expected it to. A little bit stronger lofted, but it was nice to see that you're able to get the ball high enough, launch it, at a point where it was over 20 degrees, and your landing angle was 49.1, which is plenty stopping power. So I feel like even golfers that might not swing as fast as you are going to still really enjoy the hot metal.
Yeah.
They're going to get plenty of height, and then again, your balls didn't really move one way or the other either. Your shots, it was pretty straight ball flight with that one too.
Yeah, no, totally. And I feel like I would go back and forth between the hot metal and the hot metal pro a lot. I tend to be indecisive of figuring out which one I liked better, because what I did really like about the hot metal is that when I felt like I missed a shot like really badly, it wasn't nearly as bad. It still went pretty straight. Versus as opposed to the hot metal pro, when I did miss one, it kind of did what I thought it was gonna do.
Yeah, that's kind of the sacrifice with the hot metal pro is you get, it's a kind of a, I don't want to say shrunk version, but it's a smaller version of what the hot metal is. And because of that smaller shape, you get a little bit more workability. Your ball's going to move a little bit more right or a little bit more left if you have a, I guess, for lack of a better term, a faulty swing. Or if you're trying to hit the draw or trying to hit the fade, you can do that more effectively with the hot metal pro.
Yeah, because then when I hit it really well, it felt the best. Like it felt really, really good, which is pretty much exactly what you're looking at when you have a smaller head that's a little bit harder to hit. It's like when you catch it perfect, shot couldn't get any better, but the miss is going to be a little bit worse of a miss.
But. And it makes sense to me too that the hot metal pro is the one you hit the most consistently of all of them, because it's, you're playing a previous model, but the same thing. And also we should notice that the the total distance, between the hot metal pro are the exact same average, 183.2.
Yeah, because the lofts are the same, right?
The lofts are the same, and then the carry distance is also off by 0.3 of a yard. So where we saw the difference was the hot metal HL, more loft and designed really to get the ball going upwards versus outwards. And so I know it's tough to look at the numbers because you didn't hit it as far and it's not as efficient. But
it's supposed to be the easiest club to hit, and I hit it the worst.
But it's supposed to go shorter. It's supposed to go higher, and it did those things. So it's definitely built for somebody, again, that's more concerned about getting the ball in the air. And able to stop on the green versus these other ones, more distance oriented, but especially the hot metal pro. definitely for the player that still wants a little bit more control over their trajectory,
yeah,
which we saw today.
That's exactly why different equipment is made. That's why different models are made, because what fits for somebody else might not fit for me. What fits for me might not fit for the next guy. So it's just like, it's really cool to look at, seeing the equipment do what it was designed to do.
Yeah.
So, and you know, I would obviously go in one direction, someone else might go in another. So it's really cool. It's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, and what you could do too is combo set. You could do some hot metal, some hot metal pro. I mean, it's an option. So
just start getting super.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what club fitting is here. That's what we can do here at Second Swing.
Right?
So golfers, thank you for watching. First, thank you to Emma for joining. There's some great testing today. Mizuno JPX 925 Hot Metal Pro, and Hot Metal HL irons. Really good performance today. We saw, I mean, the clubs did exactly what we were told that they were going to do, which is really cool. So schedule that fitting, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then tell us in the comments what you think of these irons so far. Again, Emma, thank you for joining. Great stuff.
Yeah, thanks so much. This was awesome. Cool to see.